All right. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get the camera back just a little bit, just a little bit. Make sure I'm not too close. Am I too close? Hold on, let me fix that. As soon as we start the heat check, I gotta start messing with the camera and whatnot. Make sure my volume is good. Everything's coming in nice and smooth. All right, we're looking good. We're looking good. We're looking good. Perfect. Here we go. Here we are. Here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Heat Check. What's the Heat Check? The Heat Check is a live beat review show hosted by yours truly, Desmond A. I'd like to thank all the producers who submitted their beats for this particular show. I got all the submissions ready to go. Who am I? Why should you be listening to me? Well, my name is Desmond A. I've been a producer for over 12 years now. Gone a few places, seen a few things. Got music on networks such as Bravo, Sci Fi, E Television. The list goes on, and also plenty of talented independent recording artists in Atlanta and also worldwide via the internet. So I'd like to give a shout out to the chat. Everyone's in the chat. We are multi streaming to TikTok, Twitch, and of course, the primary source for this show is, in fact, YouTube. So this is a YouTube show. So if you're anywhere else, please migrate yourself over to YouTube because that is the primary platform for the Heat Check. So how does the Heat Check work? How exactly does this show operate? So you go ahead and submit your beats. As you can see, all the free submissions are closed for this week. You submit your beats. I go ahead and review them, listen to about a minute and a half of each beat, then go ahead and give my feedback. But we got to lay the ground rules. So, how exactly does it work here at the Heat Check? The ground rules is that we don't roast, we don't snap, we don't say, "Hey, that beat is trash." We don't say, "Hey, that beat it sucks, it's whack." We don't speak like that here. We give producers real actionable steps. So what does that mean? You can say, "Hey, that doesn't really fit the beat. Maybe try this kick from this pack. The melody doesn't quite move me. Maybe try changing the melody or using this type of sample." You can even promote other producers or other sound designers stuff here. This is not about me. This is about providing value to you guys. So if you want to shout out all those other people who have their stuff, go ahead and do that. I, of course, have my stuff at desmondasounds.com. You can go ahead and get loops, free guides, so on and so forth. So that's exactly how the show works. Make sure that you submit for the free submissions next Friday. What's going to happen is as soon as this show closes, about 5 minutes, 10 minutes after that, the form is going to open, desmondasounds.com/review. Then you can submit your beats for next week's show, of course. And if you do want to skip the line, have the option, desmondasounds.com/VIP. See that right there, right there, right there. You can go ahead and send in $10 and we'll go ahead and skip you right to the top of the line so you don't have to wait till next week's show. And I also want to give a shout out to the Made in the Studio podcast, man. The podcast is growing, the podcast is going, and it is a major joy to be of service to you guys, getting those great interviews. Last interview, which came out yesterday, was with OG the Three, an extremely talented music producer and musician. He dropped all types of game. And then, oddly enough, right after our podcast episode came out, he has a placement on the new Bryson Tiller project. So go check out the Bryson Tiller project, stream it, go follow OG the Three on Instagram. Go ahead and show them love. Producers, we got to show love to other producers because, we're a tight knit community and we all want to get to the same place. So go ahead and show love to your fellow producer. And of course, we got another Made in the Studio podcast episode coming the Thursday after this Thursday. So just subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and of course on my YouTube channel. You could check out the Made in the Studio podcast. So that's what we got going on, man. Things are moving, things are grooving, things are going. You know what I'm saying? All right, so shout out to DJ PXLX in the YouTube chat. Free submissions are closed for now. So if you want to submit for next week's show, just make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a community post about 5 minutes after the show it finishes, and then you can go ahead and submit for next week's show if you want to do the free submissions. And of course, if you are interested, we do have VIP submissions. If you want to skip the line, not wait till next week, you can go to Desmond A Sound/VIP. But that's how we're gonna do that. Absolutely, absolutely. And make sure you check out my podcast, DJ PXLX, Made in the Studio. So that's how we're going to do that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so it looks like got everything taken care of. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to FL Studio here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and review the first beat. All right, so first beat we have here is Dancing Mane with his, of course, as usual, Dancing Mane has some interesting beat titles, but that's why we love him here at the Heat Check. Dancing Mane, we're going to review his beat. It's called Smoke Something, Bitch. Smoke Something, Bitch. That's the name of his beat. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my mic. We'll play about a minute and a half of the beat. Then we're going to come back, give some feedback, and move on. Okay. Shout out to you in the chat. Hope to hear from you. Hope to hear from you next week, man. We're going to be back here on the Heat Check next Friday. So I hope to hear from you, DJ Polo. So for now, we're going to jump into Dancing Mane's beat and then give some feedback. And gentlemen, that was Dancing Mane with his first submission of the week with Smoke Something, Bitch. All right, so Dancing Mane, feeling that beat has a nice vibe, nice bounce. It gives me a little bit of cushion orange juice type of vibes. I remember that era of Wiz Khalifa with the Johnny Giuliano, the Sledgerin, Cardo Got Wings. I was getting those type of vibes from that beat. And based on the title, I feel like that's something that you were kind of aiming for. One thing with that beat, I like the bounce. I like the sound selection. There were parts with the 808 I feel like may have been out of key. If I can get for you to pitch up in your DAW, just go into your piano roll, pitch up the 808 one octave, and then pitch up the 808 another octave. Listen closely, make sure it still sounds like it's in key. Push it down one octave, listen closely, make sure it sounds like it's in key, and then put it back to the area or the octave that you want it to be in. The reason that I say that is because if you're going for that cushion OJ type of vibe, if the 808s are out of key and they kind of don't really flow perfectly or closer to the key of that sample, if you have an R&B singer or if the rapper who leases or buys your beat wants to put an R&B singer on it, it could be a bit difficult for them to create a hook around a beat that has that out of key 808. It could be done, but what I've seen happen is songwriters kind of just say to themselves, it's just something I just don't feel it. It's just something they don't quite know how to articulate themselves, but they will say there's something that I'm just not feeling about this part. Unfortunately, I've seen that before recording different artists, because sometimes when I record artists, they bring the tight beats and then they're just like, yeah, I don't understand. I'm not feeling that part. So once again, I know that sounds like a small change, but that small change can open the door to a rapper writing their verse and then having their homegirl or sister or homeboy who can sing create a memorable hook. So watch the key of that 808. And after you do that, you'll be all good, all smooth, all good to go. So if I can get for you to just do that, we'll be smooth. All right. Moving forward, we have Dancing Main's second submission, which is Lovin' La Cocaína. Is that Lovin' La Cocaína? All right, Lovin' La Cocaína by Dancing Main. Dancing Main, we're gonna put you in charge of beat naming. If I come up with another drum loop pack or something like that, sometimes I struggle with the names. I'm gonna have to hit up Dancing Main for a nice name. All right, so let's get into this beat, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dancing Main with Lovin' La Cocaína. So let's take a listen. Gentlemen, that was the second submission of the day by Dancing Man, Lovin' La Cocaína. All right. Now, that beat, it kind of gave me like underground hip hop kind of vibes. I could definitely see more of like an indie artist or indie rapper uh, getting that type of beat, kind of wanting to get more like underground feel. It's not somebody who wants to be mainstream is gonna lease or buy that type of beat or write to that type of beat. I kind of see somebody who's kind of off in the cut, like a subgenre type of hip hop artist, gonna want that type of beat. Um, One thing that jumped out to me was the bass. The bass isn't bad. I can't say that there's anything bad about it, but if I can get for you to try a different bass patch, or one or two things you could do. You can try a different bass patch, just going through your collection of sounds in your DAW or whatever VST you use, and just kind of scroll through and see if you can find something that just fits the texture just a little bit better, right? That's one option. Another option you can do is to possibly just try lowering the bass just a tad bit. Let's say I want to say about 1 dB. Let's try around 1 dB. Would 1 dB work? Maybe like let's do negative like 1.2 dB and then see if it fits better. And when you make those type of changes in the beat, listen in context. What do I mean by that? I mean, listen to the sample and then listen to the drop. So don't just change the sounds and then just hit the space bar right at the new bass sounds. Let your play bar go back, let the sample play, then let the beat hit, then just listen if it feels better. So start and then let it hit, then okay, this bass sounds better. So you may have to export your beat, your current beat, well, you already have it exported, and just mute this version in your DAW, and then have your open project with all your VSTs, and then listen. Okay, I like I like this version better, or I like this version better. So just kind of take a listen. So we're going to A, B, and compare. So hopefully that was clear. If not, please feel free to leave a comment, Dancing Man. I'll be glad to clarify. All right, moving forward, we have another producer here, which is Icy. Icy is back with a new submission for this week. We have Magnetic by Icy. This is a new jazz beat that Icy made, and we're gonna go ahead and take a listen to this. Icy usually has a really good drum bounce. So this is new jazz, so we don't know what kind of style it's going off into, but let's go ahead and take a listen to this particular beat. I'm gonna mute my mic and then give it my feedback.
嬉しそうだな。褒めてやろうか。本物の呪術というものを。嬉しそうだな。褒めてやろうか。本物の呪術というものを。
Gentlemen, that was Icy with Magnetic. Now, Icy, that beat really feels like, to me, I hear like the younger generation of artists. I'm hearing like a Destroy Lonely type of artist on this beat. I'm hearing a possibly Ken Carson, but I'm thinking more Destroy Lonely type of artist on this beat. Now, as far as the beat itself, one thing that jumped out at me, it's a couple things. One, that bass is so loaded, it's so loud, it's crunching and crushing the red on your meter so much. I'm hearing like this. It's a sound. Sometimes in engineering we call it pumping. It's like a sound that sounds like the bass is so loud and it's hitting so hard that it's crushing the bass. So it's just loud, but it's not full, thick, and bodied. It's just, let me show you here. Let me pull up the mixer here in FL Studio. So I can tell that in your DAW that the bass is just hitting the red all the way up here. It's just all the way up here, all the way up here, and it's just it's devouring your mix, and it's not allowing the music to be heard the way that it needs to be heard. I understand stylistically pushing a bass very loud, so it's buzzy, or pushing a bass texture wise so it has a certain buzz and a ugly prettiness that we like to have. But to me, that sounds like the bass was just hitting so hard it was just all the way red, all the way red in your meter here, and that's it makes it difficult to feel the beat the way it needs to be felt. So if I can get you to pull down your bass, just pull it down, keep it from hitting all that red, so we can have some breathing room in the beat. A couple reasons for that. One, if we play this on loudspeakers in contrast to a beat that the bass is treated better, then we're gonna hear a huge difference, and you wouldn't want that to happen. That can be a kind of a demoralizing or heartbreaking thing to happen in the studio, is to play a beat that you think is loud because it's hitting so much red next to a beat that's mixed a bit more properly in the studio. It could suck out the room, suck out some of the energy in the room. I've been there. I've been on both sides actually. So we've all been there, but it's a good feeling when you get on the other side and you play a beat in a studio with big speakers and you really like, okay, I knew what I was doing when I was mixing my bass, and I want to get you there, because this is the beat is composed well. What do I mean by that? You have nice contrast, you have nice drum bounce. Like I said, you have good drum bounce, and it's just the mix in that bass just devouring everything. It's gonna throw so many people off. So if I can get for you to fix that bass, then we should be good to go. Fix the bass, and then that should open up the mix to be much more pleasurable on the ears. But man, I really wish I could hear that beat without the bass like that. But yeah, I like the switch up too, the way that the beat switched also. But I would want an artist to be able to get to that point and not be like, okay, next beat, because artists are notoriously short-tempered in the studio. Like next, next. It's like, damn, you didn't even give the producer a chance. So that's just my feedback, composition wise, and my feedback, I guess you could say, business/networking wise. So got like a 2-for-1 today. Okay, moving forward, it looks like we have another beat here by IC. This one is called Most Times Straight Into It. But before we play this beat here by Icy, I want to go ahead and make sure I shout out DesmondASounds.com. Make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com to get loops, free guides on Pro Tools, mixing beats, sampling. Also got, like I said, loops. And then also, if you guys want to book time with me for one-on-one coaching, you can also do that at DesmondASounds.com. Everything is there. And also shout out to the Made in the Studio podcast. You can check that out anywhere you can find podcasts. Made in the Studio, you find it, you'll see Desmond A. Made in the Studio. It's obvious which podcast it is related to producers. So make sure you guys check that out. All right, let's go ahead and get to the second beat by Icy. This one's called Most Times Straight Into It. So let's go ahead and take a listen. that was the second submission of the day by Icy. Most times straight into it. That's the name of that beat. Now, Icy, the same thing that I mentioned in the previous beat is going on in this beat as well. That bass is so loud and just crushing the meters so much that it just has nowhere else to go. It has no room to breathe. The sub is getting cut. I'm even hearing that the instruments are getting. So you have the bass, and the bass has the buzziness. Those harmonics are saturated with. It's probably just the sound probably came with it. So the bass is buzzy, and in layman's terms, the bass is buzzy and it's loud. So it's buzzy and it's loud, and the fact that it's buzzy and it's super loud and it's pushed in our face, it's masking some of the instruments that's happening behind it. So it's like I can tell there's some interesting things going on behind the bass, especially there's some type of switch up going on there, but I couldn't hear it due to the fact that the bass was just so pushed and just overloading the mix that I couldn't really hear too much of anything. That's the reason I actually took off my headphones for a second. I wasn't distracted. I was listening to the sub, seeing if there was any sub in that beat. But what happens sometimes is producers the distortion saturates the lower mid range of the bass so much it sounds good, and it's probably gonna sound good on like iPhone speakers and things like that. But in the process, it hacks off the sub. So if we can pull back the 808, just give the beat some breathing room, give the beat some headroom, let the meters move around, and we should be able to have a better picture. But it's like I can't really feel the beat the way it needs to be felt just because it was so much. And that's part of the reason why that's part of the reason why I created this here. Right here, if I have it on this computer, FLD bass. It's part of the reason I created this is because I was hearing this so much that it produces you like the buzziness. So we have here, so you have one type of distortion, another type of distortion, another type of distortion. You can kind of filter it out, and then here we have the subs. But this really wouldn't help in this instance, Icy, due to the fact that I could tell you're just smacking against the meter. So this particular FL Studio Patch plugin wouldn't really help. It would just make this would actually probably make the problem worse. But for producers out there who do have those buzzy, distorted, rage kind of basses, and you want it to be a bit more subby, you want to control it a bit more, then you can use FLD bass. You can get this at DesmondASounds.com. You can just add in the sub. You just sub, drive, sub low pass filter, and then you just kind of play with it. And then you could just bypass it, listen to it, bypass it, listen to it. So that way you can have your distorted 808s, and at the same time, you can add in some subs, so it's gonna like shake speakers. So I hope you guys are like doing the car tests when you can to kind of check your bass in different environments. So that's always a good thing to do. So just want to point that out. FLD bass. Get that at DesmondASounds.com. All right. Apologize if I'm squinting here, guys. I got the light right here in my face. I might have to start wearing sunglasses. You guys might think I'm trying to be cool or something, but I may have to start wearing sunglasses because this light is getting to me. But it's all good. All right. Moving forward, we have our next producer. This is Blonde Dre with Been Too Long. So we're going to listen to this beat by Blonde Dre. Then I'm going to go ahead and give my feedback. So let's go ahead and take a listen to this beat. Let's take a listen. right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Been Too Long by Blondre. Shout out to you, Blondre, and I appreciate you for submitting to the Heat Check. And I appreciate, of course, all the producers for submitting. But I want to shout out to you, Blondre, for sending this for our show. Now, that beat, I get the impression that this beat is not really for a particular recording artist, but it's more so for like some type of DJ set. I'm getting like kind of like selection radio kind of vibes. Like I can hear Joe K, mixing this and then putting on like some K Tronada or something like that. Is that the kind of vibe that you were going for? That's what I'm feeling. Because the beat, like in the beginning, there was some couple switch ups that I kind of felt like might be hard for an artist to catch. You may have to be in the studio with an artist for them to really understand some of those switch ups in the beginning. Without it, they might get thrown off. The beat itself, one thing that I'm hearing is, it's like, Blondre, if I can get for you to do this in your DAW, whatever DAW that you're using, if I can get for you to put your beat in mono, right? So it's in stereo now, put it in mono. Then after you put it in mono, let me know if, this is your own judgment. After you put the beat in mono, listen and hear if the drums still hit hard. Listen if the snares still sound good and all the elements, because I'm hearing like some type of like small. This is not a big issue at all. Well, it's not a big issue at all, but it can tighten up the way things feel in a way that you may not recognize. So if I can get you to collapse this beat in mono in your DAW, listen to the sounds and see, okay, did my kick kind of disappear when I put it in mono? Do I not feel it as much? If that's the case, if you're hearing like your drum sounds kind of not really feel as good when you put it in mono, we could have some issues with like stereo imaging and possible phasing issues, like very small phasing issues. It kind of creates this kind of like softness. It's like a softer texture to the drums. And this kind of has like a punchy type of vibe. So, here in FL Studio, let me open it. Where's my mixer? All right, there we go. It's right near the light. All right. So here in FL Studio, we of course have the option we have this button here that we can merge sounds. Let me make sure that it's visible there. Yeah, okay, you can see it on my screen. I want to make sure that everything's clear. Okay, so here in FL Studio, you can see we have the option to merge sounds, meaning we could take it from stereo and make it mono by twisting this knob and moving it to the right. Then we can separate it and make it a bit more wide by pushing it to the left. So whatever DAW that you're using, there should be some type of option like this. It may be like a some type of stock plugin that you have if you're not using FL Studio that allow you to make sounds a bit more mono. So you don't have to go in and just automatically change everything straight into mono. But if I can get for you to kind of listen to your beat in mono, and if things kind of sound soft and mushy and not quite as clear and punchy, we might need to kind of work on the stereo imaging. Hopefully this is not too much. If an artist hears that beat and we just crank it up stupid loud in the studio, they're gonna rock with it because the bounce and the beat and the vibe and everything like that. But I just want that punchiness, that K Tronada pop pop. So it's kind of maybe a kind of a real taste thing for me. I just want this to just punch tighter. I want the stereo image to be a bit tighter. Hopefully that wasn't, I didn't kind of go off on a tangent too much, but if I can get for you to do that, I think we can get the focus of the stereo image of the beat a lot better, and I think that's gonna translate well to a lot of punch and pop and impact. So hopefully that was clear. But yes, I enjoyed that beat. So it looks like you have another beat here. This one is called, okay, so we have Blind Dre. This one is called Sneakers EHM. Okay, so SNKRS EHM. All right. So let me go ahead and mute my mic. We're going to listen to the second submission of the night by Blind Dre, and then we're going to give our feedback. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody on TikTok, Twitch, and of course the primary places here on YouTube. So shout out to everybody for joining. My name is Desmond A. Check out everything at the top. I am here of your service. So let's go ahead and take a listen to Blind Dre's second submission of the night. Let's take a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the second submission of the night by Blind Dre, and that was SNKRS EHM. Now, Blind Dre, as soon as I heard that beat, I can tell that this is a zone that you live in. This might be like your main style of beat. So if you're working with artists, if you have like a BeatStars, I get the impression that this is a well-practiced style that you have. It sounds so on point that I can tell that you've refined and tuned this style of production. To me, the whole time I was rapping like YG in my head, and even out loud. It's part of the reason why I mute my mic. I was rapping like YG, kind of doing one of those confessional type of records that he likes to do sometimes, or just really going off on this type of beat. I'm getting a lot of West Coast vibes from it. Some feedback. These two things are minor. They're minor, right? So one, the kick, it felt a little aggressive. If I can get for you to dial the kick back, maybe even like 0.3 dB, just dial it back just a little bit. I'm just picturing myself in the studio with a recording artist telling me to pull up this beat, and then as we're listening to it in Pro Tools, I'm like, that kick is a little hard. Let me use some type of compressor to kind of catch that kick. so that way it's just not overloading when I compress the entire song. So I want to kind of get something kind of snatch that kick a little bit. I'd probably put on something like maybe Soothe 2 to catch that kick. Um, maybe probably like a multi-band compressor to try to just snap that kick just a little bit to make it a little more tame. So just a little feedback on that. Also, whenever I was hearing the reverse parts of the beat, I was rapping to it, and at moments it was a bit challenging for me to catch the rhythm. So if I can get for you when you listen back to your beat, just make sure that you can rap to it. Make sure that you can vibe to the beat. Because if there's like little parts that's a little off, just go in and correct them a little bit. I've been guilty of that too. In the past, it's like, this is kind of a light quirk. Maybe nobody will notice, but listen to those reverse parts and then just rap to yourself. Like whatever artist that you picture on this beat, rap to yourself. Be like, okay, I would be able to catch that. Or, ooh, if you feel it in your chest, like, ooh, that was a little weird. That's kind of hard for me to catch. Then, go ahead and tighten it up in your DAW and get everything just right. Because there's a couple moments in the reverse part. So if it's just me, then it's just me. But listen back, listen closely, and I think you'll find like just a little small tweaks. Because, the reverse sounds, they kind of have the mind of their own at times. So sometimes we got to do a little extra tweak into it. But, I do it too sometimes, those reverse sections. So always fun to do in the DAW. So shout out to you, Blind Dre. Hope to see you moving forward on the heat check. Continue to submit, and I'll be glad to provide you more feedback. Speaking of feedback, ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in a one-on-one consultation with me, just go to DesmondASounds.com/coaching. I'll be glad to do a Zoom call with you, man. We can just talk about beats. You can send me as many beats as you want. I'll just listen. You want to talk about juggling work and music. You want to talk about your career. You want to talk about what you should be doing. Man, I've been in this game for a minute. So if you want to just do a one-on-one consultation, one-on-one coaching, just go to DesmondASounds.com/coaching. That hour is just between you and me, man. Whatever you want to talk about, we'll do it. So new thing that I'm offering just to get more one-on-one contact with you guys. All right, moving forward, we have the final beat of the night. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we have Phoenix with West Coast bounce type beat. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic. We're gonna go ahead and listen to this beat by Phoenix. Then I'm gonna go ahead and give my feedback. So let me go ahead and mute and take a listen to the beat. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Phoenix, our final beat with West Coast bounce type beat. Now, Phoenix, a couple things. One, like I like the percussion. I like the way that you weren't afraid to experiment and kind of think outside the box when it came to the percussion. I felt like there were certain sounds that you used that were bold and brave, and you were able to land it with the percussion. Now, excuse me, guys. It's getting it to me. All right. Okay. I'll be able to look at you guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Phoenix. All right. It's much better. I got the light right in my eye. Okay. So, Phoenix. The percussion was good. Now, what was getting me was the chord progressions. It was like dun 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 dun. I want you to listen to that beat again. And as you listen to the beat, make sure you're feeling everything, right? Make sure that as you're listening to the beat, nothing pulls your emotions out. Like it's kind of like watching a movie, and then as you're watching the movie, maybe like there's like a color change, and you're like, this is I feel this movie, but the colors are a bit. Something's going on with the color of this movie. Now, I want to get into it, but something about the color is off that's keeping me from being totally engaged in this movie. And that's what was happening to the chord progression in this beat for me. I was hearing da 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 da, and then as the beat kept going, it was like da da. So I'm kind of curious on how an artist is going to find themselves writing to the entire beat without getting to a point where they feel like I wish I could call the producer and tell them to change this and move this here. And that could be the thing that kind of prevents an artist from getting totally engaged into the beat and having them just move on to something different. So I want there to be more of a cohesive journey when it comes to that chord progression. I know the feel that you're going for, but I kind of feel like it's a tiny bit off. So once again, listen back, listen to the beat. Don't look at your DAW. Just listen to the beat, close your eyes, and then feel. And if you feel something at a point where it's like, ooh, that kind of threw me off, go in, work on the chord progression, and see if that feels a bit better. This is really kind of a feel conversation when it comes to the chords, that little piano sound that you have there. And at this point, it's so percussion heavy that I feel like just an artist's voice is what needs to be added to it. But just kind of pay attention to the excuse me, pay attention to the chord progression. So that's what we need to tweak in that instance. All right. Shout out to everybody in all of our chats here. TikTok. Shout out to you, Roxy, and TikTok. We have Keishi in Twitch. And shout out to everybody in, we have our main location, which is YouTube. Sorry, guys. This has been a long day, but I am here. So, shout out to everybody in all the chats. Once again, as soon as this live stream closes, you will be able to upload for next week's show, next Friday's show. And I'm going to make a YouTube community post so you are 100% aware of it and you don't miss out. Ladies and gentlemen, the next Made in the Studio podcast episode is going to come the Thursday after this Thursday coming up. So not next Thursday, Thursday after that. I have a very talented sound designer, not type beat producer, but he does a lot of type beats, and he's a producer. Some people don't like the type beat producer moniker. But yeah, very, very talented guy, talented musician. He's going to give you a lot of game on like selling beats, selling sound kits, AI, all the different things that are coming up. So you guys are gonna definitely enjoy that episode. And of course, check out the one with OG the Three, producer, work with Trippy Red, Bryson Tiller, Yo Gotti. He dropped a ton of gems. Make sure you check out the Made in the Studio podcast. You can see it up there at the top, Made in the Studio. So all podcast platforms. This is just the beginning. Got plenty more interviews to go. I just gotta hunt down a lot of producers, you know. Gotta hunt down a lot of producers. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. Make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com, get your sounds. Make sure you like and subscribe to all platforms, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. Make sure you like and subscribe. And tell a friend to tell a friend. That's the only way we can continue, is if you tell a friend and tell a friend. I know you guys are getting value from the heat check. I can continue to do this and give you guys more and more value. So I can show up every Friday here giving you guys some good game. So I will see you guys next Friday on the heat check. My name is Desmond A. And I'll see you soon next week.